Hello, it's March 6th, 2026, and this is your morning briefing from Anchor Watch. I'm Bobby Jones, and here's my take on the latest from the Middle East and the ongoing conflict with United States, Israel, and Iran. So, from a military standpoint, really nothing surprising as um, missile stockpiles start to deplete across the board. Various reports are saying that Iran is not using as many salvos across the region, but they're spreading what they're targeting. What I mean by salvos is the amount of missiles used in each one of their attacks on one location. So instead of trying to flood the zone and trying to defeat air defenses with multiple missiles, they're using a smaller number of missiles, but yet spreading out what they attack. Um, this is trying to stretch air defenses of the United States and Israel thinner. And there has been some limited success. There have been multiple reports of a THAAD battery, or basically one of the Army's air defense systems, pretty advanced. It's cost up to $1 billion per copy to field being taken out. That's significant too because it's not just the interceptor, but the TP2 radar that they have is very, very powerful. And if one of those was taken out, that could really put a wrench in the United States and Israel's air defense architecture. So that's something to take a look at. Um, Along the lines of military action that's already happened, investigators have basically leaked out that the girls' school that was taken out in Iran that killed up to 150 or more people, to include little girls at school, it's believed that that ordinance was actually dropped by the United States, possibly an error, but still, all initial reports make it look like that the United States did that, which explains Pete Hegseth's answer when he was asked directly about it at the press conference he gave yesterday, and saying that it was under investigation. Trust me, it does not take 2, 3 days for the United States to figure out where ordinance came from, especially if it came from the United States. So, be interesting to see how the political fallout, the public relations nightmare that's going to come from that. Um, the UAE, United Arab Emirates, big ally of the United States, they have been getting really hammered with Iranian missiles because of, well, the American bases that are there. Um, and it's a major logistical hub for the region. So they're getting hammered so much that they are now looking at isolating itself economically from Iran, freezing all of its assets, um, to make a point that they will not tolerate this type of treatment. On top of that, you got to understand that the UAE, because of its geographic position, is on both sides of the Strait of Hormuz, which makes it extremely valuable from a geopolitical standpoint, which is why the United States has its bases there. I had command of a task force there when I was still in uniform, so I know very well how important it is. And for them to take this move means they are basically all in against Iran, and basically setting back the relationship with that country, which is really right across the strait, for a generation. Meanwhile, domestically in the United States, Congress, both chambers of Congress, the Senate and the House, voted not, I repeat, not to limit Donald Trump's war powers through the War Powers Act. That's going to be significant because they can revisit that vote anytime they want to. Um, some of the Republicans, because the vote was along party lines, are basically saying, you got to give the president latitude to finish what he started, while only Rand Paul in the Senate voted with the Democrats against allowing him to have continuous free reign to run this war. Getting everybody on record going into the midterms, I think, is going to make some members of Congress pay politically, especially as this thing goes sideways. And make no mistake, militarily, right now things are going well. Well, let me rephrase that. Things are going kind of as expected. However, as missile stockpiles deplete, as air defense systems start to fail, That's when we're going to see where the rubber meets the road. Because once everything stops flying, again, you may have to put boots on the ground in Iran, because nowhere in history has regime change happened just based on an air campaign. This is another reason why Pete Hegseth did not rule that out yet again at the latest press conference of putting boots on the ground. The reason, they're already making preparations to do it. If you look at the movement of forces, the certain ships that are leaving, and what they carry, they're preparing for it. And so they're trying to desensitize the American public about it. And the irony of all this is coming from a president who, for over a decade, talked about how stupid forever wars are in the Middle East. But here we are, and we still don't know why we're doing it. If anything happens over the weekend, I will definitely go live. It's been a week since this thing really kicked off, and we still have no idea why, and we still don't have any idea of how it's going to end.